Welcome to Liberate University. Liberate University is free educational content released for the benefit and enjoyment of all. Many thanks to our gracious family of world-class practitioners for sharing their work.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Liberate University. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the challenge of change. Why is it so hard and difficult for people to change? Okay, well, there's a couple different factors that go on. And one of the main factors is we do not like the unknown, okay? And what do I mean by that? Whatever is familiar to us is comfortable. If we know and we can repeat it, we know we're safe in some way. This goes back to like our primitive mind, okay? And I know that we're not running away from tigers and things like that anymore, but back in the day, in our old existence, not our lives, but our ancestors' lives, we used to go about and say, okay, if I took this path and I survived, I'm safe. So if I continue to take this path, even if it's climbing up a mountain and jumping off a cliff and going over here and doing this, I have some kind of conditioning that I made that happen that time and I'm going to be okay. But going on a different route, taking a different path, stepping into the unknown is scary. Are we going to survive? Are we going to be okay? Is everything going to actually end up unfolding in the proper way? And there's too many question marks there, even if it's what our heart desires, and it becomes scary, it becomes frightening. And because of that, it paralyzes us and we say, okay, even if we don't like this route that we've always taken, even if we are tired and beat up at the end of it, it's familiar and we know it's predictable. And at the end of it, we know we're going to survive. And so when you think about that, that is still ruling our lives. Okay? And we have our lives and we have things that we do, patterns that we engage in on a daily basis, things that we say, I know this is horrible for me, or I know that this brings me misery, uncomfortableness, and pain. However, it's still more comfortable and acceptable than stepping into the unknown, even though that might be over here, the life of my dreams, the love of my life, the adventures that I've been desiring my whole entire existence. And so how is it so hard to take those steps is that we're conditioned that way. So I want you to know that part of it isn't your fault that it's hard to change. It's our mind, it's our way of survival. But if you can understand that and you can really get that it's just conditioning, the only reason that we continue to do the same thing, that we continue to date the same people just with a different head, that continue to get in the same situations, or that we can't force ourselves to make the changes that are good for us or that we truly desire, is because we're conditioned for safety, for the known, for what we already understand. Okay? And so that's why there is a challenge to change. However, when you find that people make those changes and the times that you've actually made those changes is that misery or that uncomfortableness becomes so unbearable that we have to. It's like we're pushed off a cliff and we're saying, okay, we've been pushed our limits. Like think about a butterfly. When it's a caterpillar, it goes through its metamorphosis, and at the end, when it's a butterfly, it finally is so uncomfortable in that cocoon, so uncomfortable, and that it can't take it anymore, that the wings start to spread and start to break open that cocoon. And finally, that butterfly emerges in that space of being uncomfortable, of that space of being tight and cramped in, that it emerges and it allows itself to fly and transform into a new life, right? But if you understand that, maybe you don't have to go through all of that pain and misery if you simply understand that your conditioning gets you there. Now, you might have heard there's different things that float around, like 21 days to change a habit, That's true to a certain extent. I always like to say it's 21 days to break a pattern, and then it's another 21 days to install a new. So you're looking at about 42 days, or like in the Bible or the Quran or the different things, when these biblical texts, you always hear the magic number of 40. It's the 40-day fast, or it's the 40, day, meditation, or whatever the case may be. And that sacred number of 40 comes in. And that's where I believe it comes from. It's 21 days to change. That pattern, 21 days to install anew. And when you simply understand that it's about repetitive nature, that if you can force yourself with enough willpower to say, okay, I get that this is just my conditioning. This has nothing else to do with my primitive mind trying to keep me in a bubble that is comfortable, that I know that I can predict. Then you can say, okay, I get it. I get where this is coming from. So if I take those steps and I start making that change, I wake up earlier each morning. I start to force myself to go to the gym. I start to do whatever changes you want to make in your life. You'll notice that soon that becomes your known reality. And if you force yourself to go and do that for 21 days straight, you're breaking those old patterns of resistance. You're breaking those old ways that say, this is what I know. And then when you're starting to allow yourself to instill that new thing that you're putting in its place, another 21 days of that, and you have the recipe for change. And so you fight against that resistance. You understand where the change and why it's difficult to change to start with. And that is the power, okay? Please stop blaming yourself or your circumstances in your life and just say, this is just my pattern. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't make it negative. Don't make it positive. Just say, this is what I know. And if I want something different, I know that I'm fighting a resistance of my primitive mind trying to keep me in familiar, keep me in the comfortable. Even if the comfortable is misery. I want that to be a really important notion. Just because you hate something doesn't mean that you're going to change out of it. It's still known. It's predictable. And so, but also understand that your heart's desires deserve to be manifested in reality. You deserve to have the life that you truly want. You deserve to have the health that you want, the love that you want, the friendships that you want, the creative aspirations that you want, the career that you want. And if you work at it and you force yourself to allow yourself to show up, to make those small changes every day, you'll see that soon your life will reflect what is in your heart. And so I leave you with that the steps to change are allowing yourself to first and foremost connect with what it is that you want, realize it. If you can write down those steps that how do I get there? What's the first little step that I can do and start to do on an everyday basis so that you can rewrite your life, that you can change your circumstances, that you can propel yourself to be the person that you've always desired to be, to have what you've always desired to have, to experience the experiences that have been in your heart or in your mind or in your vision your whole entire life. Nothing is out of your reach. Everything you can have. The only difference between somebody living the life that you think that you want and you having it is simply experiences, is routine behavior patterns. That's it. And so if we can allow you to start to shift, if we can put in that little effort and a little bit of impact each and every day, you're going to get there. You're going to see that you're going to rise to that level of what you want your life to be. I truly believe anybody has that potential, and it's all changing here. And you'll see that it changes all around here. And it starts with that first step in doing it on a repetitive basis and just try it out. One small thing. What's one thing that you want different in your life? Do you want a different mindset? Do you want to start thinking more positive? Do you want to have a healthier body or an image? Do you want to start to manifest more friends, a deeper loving relationship? Do you want to start to save more money? Do you want to advance in your career? Just name one and say, what is the first step that I can make towards that? That can be a regular pattern in my life so I can start to view my life in a different way, because guess what? That same force that keeps you in this comfort zone is going to keep you in that comfort zone of what you want instead when you get there. So know that that same power that is keeping you in a life that you are not wanting right now is going to be the same force that keeps you in that life that you truly desire. And so take that step, break it down, and make those steps each and every day for the next 42 days, and you'll see your life transform. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of this class. We hope to see you at the next one.